Okay, folks, it's 9:30. It is Tuesday morning, the 19th of May, here in the boardroom. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the 3rd Laguna Hills Mutual Board of Directors. And I see that we have a quorum. Moon is online, thank you, on Zoom. And Reza is here as well, and Peg is on the way in. So we have a quorum. I'll call the meeting to order. I will ask the General if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Please turn off your cell phones. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. All right. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion? So
So
I see
moved.
Parsons moves. I see Director Shostak seconds. Any additions, corrections regarding the agenda? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and assume the agenda is approved unless I hear otherwise. Okay. Approval of the minutes, April 21, 2026, the regular open meeting, and May 1, 2026, the agenda prep meeting. We'll take them together unless somebody wants to separate them. Can I get a motion to approve both minutes? I see Director Wayne moves. I do see Director Shostak seconds. Are there any corrections or changes? Hearing none, I will once again assume that the minutes are approved as presented. Report of the chair. I do have something I do want to share with you related to Ting. Third Mutual is working closely with Ting to help our members get connected to the Ting Internet and ensure a smooth transition from West Coast Internet. If you live in Gate 5 and 6 areas, you're eligible to schedule your installation today. Let me repeat that so we're all very clear about your current opportunity. If you live in Gate 5 or 6 areas, you're eligible to schedule your installation right now. Know that you can enjoy installation equipment at no cost to you. I suggest that you don't wait. Call the Ting scheduling line, which is 714-263-1826. Once again, 714-263-1826. Please call today to get connected. For more information and helpful ways to stay connected in your community, visit Ting's Laguna Woods Village website. The website, for those of you who have a pen and paper handy, is internet.ting.com/Ting Laguna Woods Village. I'm looking forward to being able to schedule my installation where they eventually get to my gate area, which won't be for a couple of more months. So please, if you live in Gate 5 and 6, we need you to schedule your installation so that we can keep on track with completing the project in a timely fashion. That takes care of my comments, and we'll now go to the open forum. Michaela?
Yes, there are just 2 in-person speakers. The first speaker is Chris Collins.
Good morning, Chris Collins, 3306Q, and I'm here from the foundation. So I'm here with an update from the foundation about the work that we do on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. So let's keep looking out for one another. As of this May, the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village is introducing a new initiative that really speaks to its motto, which is Neighbors Helping Neighbors. It's an emergency decal program designed to help identify residents who might need a little extra assistance if we ever face a major emergency such as a fire, an earthquake, or even a smaller one such as a power outage. This emergency decal is a window cling that should be placed on a window near the front door of the manor. A window cling is actually a vinyl graphic that self-adheres or sticks to a smooth surface such as glass and is easily removed. This is not it. This is a bigger one for the purpose of the television. Anyway, since neighbors are often the very first responders on the scene, having these decals can help neighbors know exactly who to check on during such events. The decals are also intended to help professional first responders, though it's important to remember that first responders triage each situation based on the severity of the emergency and their available personnel and resources. So please keep in mind that using this decal is completely voluntary and free of charge. It is purely informational, does not guarantee a rescue or create a legal duty to help. The Foundation of Laguna Woods Village is not the first responder and is only providing the emergency decal as part of a community education effort. Initially, the decals will be distributed by the Garden Villa Association, Laguna Woods Social Services, and Village Meals on Wheels program. The Foundation of Laguna Woods Village also can be contacted at the foundation, lwv@gmail.com. Or 949-268-2246 if a resident wants to request one. For more information about the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village or its Planning for the Unpredictable video series, and that's what this is a part of, Planning for the Unpredictable, you can visit the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village and select Disaster Preparedness tab, which lists a series of YouTube videos on emergency preparedness. So you can call the Foundation at 949-268-2246 or email the foundation at gmail.com if you need further information. We're neighbors helping neighbors, and Stay Safe starts with you.
Thank you.
Final speaker is Beth Perrock.
Good morning, Beth Perrock, 3321C. I'm here representing the History Center, and today I want to give you just a little glimpse into the vision of our founder, Ross Cortese, and how it's still applicable today. Cortese had finished several 55-plus communities, and then he decided, wow, and let's talk to Nellie Gale Moulton. And he did, and he was able to negotiate 22 prime acres for a village. And then he said, you know what? I need to find out more about what these elder people like and need. And so he went to USC, to the gerontology department, and did his research. And his research question was answered and became his vision, which is Leisure World would present a total way of life in which religion, medical care, and recreation were totally included. For religion, he addressed religion by giving land, a plot of land, to any church that could show that they had 100 members and would start construction within 2 years. Many churches accepted the offer and still are thriving in Laguna Woods. Today, a variety of denominations also enjoy activities and services in our clubhouses. Medical care. Cortese provided medical care in an office provided in Clubhouse 1 with a nurse and staff to take care of non-emergency. In addition, he deeded property outside of the village to medical and dental facilities as well as a hospital. These facilities serve residents today. Saddleback Memorial Hospital partners in service with many village groups, the Foundation, Thrive, Chicago Club, many others. Memorial Care has been the sponsor of the Breeze since its beginning. We all remember Memorial Care provided vaccinations for all residents during COVID. Recreation, Clubhouse 1, with a large dining dance hall, pool, bocce ball, meeting rooms, clubs, and a number of other attractions, was the first of many clubhouses. The Equestrian Center, tennis courts, and golf offered many possible opportunities for recreation. So today, all 7 clubhouses offer a plethora of activities, recreational activities. Pickleball is a new kid on the block and immensely popular. Our village games are a perfect way to show off our sports talent. Wow, how we have grown in 60-plus years. However, we are still guided by the Cortese vision of a total way of life in which religion, medical care, and recreation are included. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? Michaela, that's it?
That is it.
Okay. Directors, any comments, responses? Director Parsons.
Yes, Chris, definitely appreciate the foundation with that emergency placard that's going to put up around. Appreciate that so much since I work with a disaster preparedness team. So let us know if you need some help or whatever.
Okay, anyone else? Ruth?
Chris, I was wondering if it's possible for us to get a few of those for our neighbors that may not be online or aware, that are elderly, that we could offer them. My immediate neighbors, for example.
I think that you can go to social services. They have a lot of them. I don't have any. I don't have, the real thing. I have just that little placard thing there, to show you. But I know that they have them, and then Garden Villa is distributing them as well as Meals on Wheels. But I think from, social services.
Okay, thank you.
It's a very good idea.
Director Hopkins.
Yeah, Beth, let me thank you as a fellow trustee on the History Center. I've never heard a more concise history, and the reason why. It was very well done, and I'm going to follow that lead. I do give a presentation on something very similar, the history as well as the governance. And the next one is at the PC Club, May 29th at 10 a.m. So if anybody cares to learn a little bit more about the Cortese Foundation and how he founded this, as well as how it fits into our government structure, please attend.
Thank you. Anybody else? Comments? Director Creamy.
Yeah, I really appreciate Ms. Collins and disaster preparedness. This is a good feeling that the two foundation and disaster preparedness plan, we are taking care of our members at the time of need. And I really appreciate everything that the foundation and the disaster preparedness plan do. And I hope the combination of the two going to give us all good feeling about that in time of need, there are people that can look after us. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? I'd like to thank both presenters. Appreciate it. Appreciate the information. And you, both groups are doing excellent work on behalf of the village, so thank you. All right. We now move to the CEO report.
Thank you, President Muchnick, honorable members of the board. I want to start today with a reminder that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and that we have VMS Social Services here, and they can help residents maintain independence and enhance quality of life. Social workers are available for short-term counseling, long-term care planning, and resource referrals. On the screen before you is a list of many services that are offered, including grieving of a lost loved one, caring for an aged or ill relative, coping with life-changing diagnoses, and so on. Just as a reminder, VMS Social Services is located here in the community center just down the hall and can be reached by telephone at 949-597-4267. On Monday, there will be a Memorial Day ceremony and concert at 1 p.m. The All-American Boys Chorus, American Legion Post 257, and guest speakers will lead a remembrance honoring those who have died in service to our country. Tickets are free and available at the Performing Arts Center box office. On the screen before you is a picture of the Home Depot lot just across the street, and the red square signifies a location where OCFA, Orange County Fire Authority, is working to bring a temporary fire station to Laguna Woods. This is going to be in place in the interim before the permanent station is built on the City Center Park site, and construction is expected to be completed at the end of 2029. Again, it's located in the Home Depot East Side parking lot just south of the former Rite Aid driveway. This will allow the dedicated fire engine that's already in service to be housed here in Laguna Woods rather than Lake Forest, and it will help quicken the response times to the village. Right now, OCFA is working through the permitting process with the city and site setup. So the official opening date is pending city council approval, so it's yet to be determined. There's a workshop titled Emergency Prep for Older Adults. This is going to take place on Wednesday, May 27th at 2 p.m. in Clubhouse 7. This will help residents learn how to prepare for emergencies with a focus on the unique needs of older adults. Topics include such things as common local risks, creating an effective emergency plan, and what to include in your emergency kit. No registration is required. The 2027 Facilities Reservation Lottery is underway. This is hosted by Recreation. It started on Friday, May 15th and concludes on June 15th. You can pick up lottery cards next door in the Recreation office or email requests to recreation@vmsinc.org. Some key details: 1 event per card and a limit of 4 per club or manor. Please include on your card or your request your name, manor number, club or organization if applicable, phone number, and resident ID, event type and number of attendees, preferred room, event date, and time. VMS Manor Alterations in the city of Laguna Woods will be hosting a Manor Renovations Town Hall. This will take place on Friday, June 19th at 9 a.m. in Clubhouse 5. It's for members, contractors, and realtors. Topics include permit processing improvements, flooring updates, accessibility considerations, and much more. And if there's any questions, you can feel free to call a staff member, Josh Monroy, at 949-597-4366 for more information. And I would like to conclude today by highlighting our recent Employee Excellence Award recipients. The awards are presented in spring and fall, recognizing outstanding employees who demonstrate excellent customer service, achieve great results on projects, and regularly go above and beyond their regular job duties. The recipients are from the Financial Services Department, Ainsley Songalang, our payroll coordinator, and Kayla Abali, payroll specialist. From General Services, Michael Everett, who is a transportation coordinator and sometimes hops behind the wheel to drive the buses as well. From Human Resources, Amy Buff, an HR generalist. Our Landscaping Services Department recognized Roberto Sanchez, nursery supervisor, David Gomez, irrigation foreman, Raul Torres, an irrigation foreman, and Gustavo Soto, a senior sprayer. Our Resident Services recognized Julio Cesar Gonzalez Padilla, workflow scheduler, and Brandon Kwan, customer service representative. Recreation and Special Events recognized Judy Dilling, golf course attendant, and Deb Stewart, part-time recreation leader. For Maintenance and Construction, Christiane Osborne, operations specialist. Social Security Services, recognized Carmen Aguilar and Elisa Magnuson, both are administrative coordinators, and they work closely, I know, with Mr. Parsons in disaster preparedness. And lastly but not least, the Community Services team was recognized for showing marked improvement in processing times for leasing, resales, and so on. Their names are listed on the screen before you: Patty, Kimberly, Roman, Angelica, Craig, Jessica, Stephanie, Selena, and Robin. So our hats are off to all these fine employees for their service to the community. And if you recognize them or pass them in your day-to-day activities, please thank them for their commitment and service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kudos to all of them.
Any questions for the CEO? Director Parsons?
No, I just think it's fantastic and timely dates and times. And I especially like that about the fire truck in that area. Didn't hear a thing about it before. That's great.
Anyone else? Director Queen?
The station that they're going to put there, they're going to have some tent or something, or they're just going to be in the open? They haven't asked us for anything?
No, it's there will be a mobile or modular facility, for the firefighters, and then a tented canopy type thing.
So
for
it's a
the
temporary
fire-
setup with the tent and everything?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Because
Obviously,
if something, we can take water, cold water to them also or something. We can help them because they're going to help us.
Okay, anyone else? All right, thank you, CEO.
Oh, one other thing. Last time you gave a special report on social services, and I've talked to some people that are prospective coming in, and I went through a lot of the pluses, and I said, oh, we have a social service department. You have what? You know, and they said, oh, we're going to contact them. So, very good. Thank you for that report.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is our consent calendar. Typically, all the items on the consent calendar are taken at once, unless somebody here has a reason to remove anything for a particular discussion or a separate vote. I will go ahead and ask that we get a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
So move.
Director Parsons moves. Was that Director Johnson a hand? Yes. I saw Director Johnson's hand out of the corner of my eye. So she seconds. Is there any discussion? Well, actually, consent calendar doesn't have discussion, sorry. All those in favor of the consent calendar signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I see you, Director Moon, so thank you. All right. Unanimously approved. We now move to unfinished business. The only item we have on unfinished business is to entertain a motion to approve the revised pet policy. This was actually supposed to have been on the agenda last month for final approval. It was accidentally left off the agenda. I see that we have Ms. Wright from Compliance here. If you'd like to come up in case there are any questions related to this or anything you want to say regarding this policy.
Good afternoon. I apologize. I didn't catch it sooner on your agenda last month, but it's here now. So it's just to update your leash requirements to just specify dogs, so it matches your city ordinance.
Okay, can I get a motion then to formally approve this? Director Parsons moves. Can I get Director Moore seconds? Okay. Is there any discussion regarding this policy? Updating it to just basically focus on dogs?
Yes.
All right. Hearing none, I'll go ahead then and call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Actually, I guess they want us to vote on the screen. I apologize. They want us to vote. You're going to get Director Moon's?
Moon, can you, or is that a yes?
It's not active.
Mine's not doing it.
None of them were active.
That's not true. Look at all the votes,
It doesn't-
including your vote,
We're
including Peggy's vote. They're up there.
Well, it didn't come up on our screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
yours doesn't work at all.
It's okay. It's good.
I'm voting yes.
okay, perfect. Unanimous. I marked Director Wayne as absent from the vote.
Director Wayne is out, okay. So the vote passes 10 in favor, no noes, no abstentions. Thank you. We're
you.
done
Have a good
done with
day.
that item. That's been approved. We now move to new business. Item number 1, recommendation to deny the revision to the herbicide spray guidelines and acknowledgement form. Director Kurt Wyman, would you like to come forward and
Enlightened.
address this?
I can think of nothing else I'd rather do. So this item was originally intended to modify an existing policy to sort of expand it. It was approved by the Landscape Committee. It then went to the Policy Committee where it was denied and sent back to the Landscaping Committee, where the Landscaping Committee basically voted to bring it to the board to discuss as a whole. So that's where we're at. So the plan is we currently have a policy that permits residents to request us to not spray herbicides in the areas adjacent to their homes. That's been in effect for about 3 years and has been working fairly well. We have about 62, 63 residents that are participating in that program. That program, if you elect to be a part of it, we don't spray herbicides. In exchange, you guarantee that you will do all of the weeding that we would have to do manually without the herbicides. So what the expansion of it was we also have a lot of residents who want to do their own gardening. They want to maintain the shrub beds themselves. We also have people who only want to maintain some of their shrubs and not others. So it's become quite difficult to administer all of these different requests from residents. So we propose that we change the policy to all or nothing. Either you do it all, you do the weeding, no herbicide, and the trimming, or we do it all, one or the other. So that's what we presented to the landscape committee, which they originally approved, and then I told you the chain after that, which brings us here.
Okay. Can I get somebody to move to put it on the floor, the agenda? Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, so Moore moves and Karimi seconds. All right, so now we'll open up. Peg?
The last time you were here, you said that you have a commercial garden. That was the modus operandi, that's how you ran it.
Correct.
Now, would that be around commercial buildings?
That's everything that we do here.
I know. But it is not detail oriented.
Yes and no. I mean, we do good work. We do, but the question, I think what you're getting at is some people are used to having gardeners come every week where they lived before here, or every other week. And they're used to a level of service that is higher than what we provide. We come by every other month. So it is not as detailed as you would get if you had a gardener come every other week or so.
I appreciate what you're saying, but when I first lived here, they were excellent. The detail was excellent. Oh, thank you. The detail was excellent. It has now gone the other way, to where it is just clip, 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 away we go. And I don't think it's the gardeners. I think it's the schedule they're on. So I guess what I'm asking is, for the first time, I have brought in a gardener. I am not, and many of my friends are not really willing to give that up. But we also don't want to be aware and responsible for everything else. They're just trimming. All right? So I guess my concern, and some of my friends' concern, is how do we manage that without an all or nothing?
See, that's the issue, is it's difficult for us. There's 6,000 some odd buildings in this community. 3,000 plus minus of those are thirds. We have to go through all those buildings 6 times a year. We cannot keep track of who we just trim and who we just weed.
I don't need you to keep track. I just need you to come through. But secondarily, just secondarily, I would have a gardener that would do extra trimming if I need it. That's all.
Well, that's one of the cases that we come across. We have residents that have gardeners come in that do everything for them every other week.
Okay, hold on. We need to speak to the motion of the herbicide program, either expanding it or not. I'd like us to stay focused on the motion that's on the floor, please.
I'm not sure how I deviated.
Peggy, what you were discussing is unrelated to the motion on the floor. I think what you're discussing should be brought up maybe at a upcoming landscape committee meeting rather than right now.
So what I'm hearing me say is I need to be against this to be able to bring up the other subject.
No, that's just unrelated to the topic.
No, you could be for this
And bring the other issue
and
up.
bring the other issues up.
Okay?
All right. Anybody else speak to the motion or against the motion?
Just want to make clear that, because in discussion at the landscape meeting, there was also some discussion as part of it of people's gardeners and what they were doing. So it's very easy to see how this has been thought of as one issue, when in fact you're saying it's actually 2 separate ones. And so if in fact they are 2 separate ones, and all we are looking at right now is the herbicide, as long as that's clear in the motion, I think it'll be easier for everybody to vote.
So to be clear, if you deny this motion or approve the motion to deny this, everything stays as it is. But we're not expanding the herbicide plan. The herbicide policy stays as it is.
Well, we asked you at one of the meetings, I thought we gave you direction at one of the meetings that we wanted to put a moratorium on the existing policy so that no new people were added to it, and then through the process of attrition, go back to that we control everything.
That's what was discussed at the landscape meeting, and they declined to make a a motion to that effect. They wanted to have the whole issue discussed at the board.
Okay, well, just, again, not to blindside you, because you were sent a copy of the lawyer's
Completely aware of the
statement,
lawyers.
and everybody has a copy of that at their seat, where the lawyer says that this is a policy we should not endorse or support. That's his conclusion, okay, and recommendation to us. And I share that with you to guide you in however you choose to vote on this. Director Parsons.
Yeah, I think it would help those who are listening to better understand if you could read that from the lawyer.
Nope, it's confidential for the board only. I will not read the lawyer's letter to the public.
Can you highlight different areas?
He feels that the issue is common area and who controls common area, and that by giving away common area, you open up all sorts of Pandora's box to other kinds of issues. Director Queenie?
Yeah, when the responsibility is turned into the members because they sign an agreement that they're going to take care of it, the process is that if they don't take care of it, there's going to be a compliance issue. And I think we have enough other compliance that we don't want to pile up things on top of it. Because, I don't know, because there's going to be like penalties and, fees. And what about if somebody is, we have snowbirds that come here, they're gone for a couple of months. What happened to them? What?
You've got to speak for or against the motion.
Well, I'm asking the question to see if what happens, that this is in the motion, that it's responsibility of the members. Failure of the member to take care of it, what's the consequences?
I think
It's in the existing policy, failure of the member to comply with the agreement voids the agreement.
And
They
Then
take
it
back
goes-
control.
Then it comes back to us.
Take back
that's
control.
all? There is
That's all.
no compliance issue
No
with it?
compliance involved at all.
Director Renzosa?
I just think that's where the confusion for some of us lies, in that you just said, if the members don't do what they're supposed to do, which is why it looks like we're talking about planting and gardening and a whole lot of other things, when in fact we've just said that we are not. So the part of compliance that you're speaking of is strictly focused on the weeds.
I don't know, that's why I asked the question. I just want to be clear.
I mean, it's,
What the consequence of not taking care of it? And
It's
what
a-
happens?
The
It's just-
consequence of
it
not
just
taking
voids the
care of it is that the HOA takes back full responsibility.
And the member is going to be penalized?
No,
No.
the penalty is that they no longer have the option of gardening or taking care of it themselves.
But-
That the HOA now reassumes full responsibility.
but again, you've melded in the gardening with the
Yeah.
herbicide.
There are the-
And then just a little while ago, we said the gardening wasn't involved with the herbicide. So am I the
No,
only
no,
one?
the herbicide requires, if you have no herbicide, it requires you to do all the weeding yourself.
That's what I asked, but we went
That's
on
what's
to
required.
other things.
So that's the weeding. And if they don't do what they're
So
supposed
it's
to do.
only, that's what I'm trying to
Right.
clarify, it's only the weed.
So they're not allowed to do gardening in there?
No, that's not. what it
That's a
says.
separate issue.
That's a separate issue, that's why.
That's what I said. What's in the agreement? It's just the weeding.
That's just the weeding.
That's it.
Can we make sure of that?
Well, that's what Kurt says, it's just the weeding.
Currently, the way it currently stands, it's just the weed.
Okay.
Director Parsons.
Isn't that also edging when they come around? That's part of that?
Yes.
Okay.
So when grass grows into the garden, it's considered a weed.
Okay. Director Johnson.
Yes, I have read this several times, and I am still confused.
It's not clear.
So, right now, we have this resolution from 2023 with the signatures and all of that. What we're voting for today is to keep this one or rescind it?
What you're voting for is whether to expand it or not. So a vote to deny this motion leaves everything as is.
I'm
All
still
right,
confused.
for clarity purposes.
Yes, what are we
Let-
voting on?
You vote, here's what I understand you're voting on. We're voting on the issue of, currently we have an herbicide program where currently people can sign up and be responsible for that edging and weeding if they don't want herbicide. And there's approximately 62 people involved in that program. The question I have just related to that, is that 62 village-wide, or is that 62 in Third?
Third.
Okay, 62 people in Third currently have no herbicide. They do their own weeding and their own edging. Under the proposed policy, people who want the no herbicide would now be also completely responsible for all of the maintenance of all of the landscaping,
Well, they have the landscaping consent.
okay?
Right.
They would then take full responsibility for all of the landscaping in that area where there's no herbicide.
Well, that's the question I asked. Are they gonna be gardening? Because now they're responsible.
Yeah,
They're gonna put flowers in there.
No,
Because
it's-
that's their area.
It's in the policy that they cannot add or detract flowers, shrubs, whatever, from the area without permission of staff or the board.
So they're not really in charge of it. They just.
They're just in charge of the maintenance.
They're maintaining what's there.
We get over 3,000 requests for clippings pickups a year. So there are a lot of residents that are already doing their own trimming. It's just, all we're asking for, as expanding this policy, is let's document who's doing it and who isn't, so that we can go ahead and do our work without guessing.
And you're okay with that?
Yes.
So,
Howard?
So currently, people are allowed to opt out of the herbicide system,
Correct.
and they're responsible for their own. And this seeks to remove that option to opt out.
No.
No.
No, it puts it in.
Move
Well,
to-
then I don't
It moves to
understand.
expand it.
To other.
So more people can opt out.
More people can opt out, and they would now accept responsibility for the maintenance of the landscaping that is there.
Yes.
They can get into the program.
Director Antosa?
So we would have more than 62.
You will have. Director Antosa?
I clearly, from the confusion of the board, and I'm one of those, because one minute things are in and the next minute they're out again, and from the thoughts expressed by our legal counsel, there are several things to consider. Just left at that there are many sides to this. And I think it's important enough that we give it the proper thought and understand it, and before we actually make a final decision, because once we make a decision, it's done. And I would ask that we table this to the next meeting and to learn more, because looking at the questions and expressions on board members' faces, we are not clear with this or with the implications of it, which I think is more important. So that's just my thought.
Are you moving the table?
Yes, I am. Am I allowed to do that in the middle of the motion? Yeah.
How does this work for the multi-story building?
There's a motion to table.
I know, I'm asking a question. I
No,
said-
no.
No, there, no.
There's a motion to table.
She's moved, but unless there's a
I
second.
second it.
Oh, you second it? All right. Non-debatable. We just vote on the motion to table. All right? All those in favor of motioning, do you want to put that up on the screen so they can vote?
Yeah, give me just a second, sorry.
I think they need to unwind it.
Yeah, it's too important.
Director Yoon, okay, approving to table.
Motion is to
Table.
table this
So that we
for another
can
month.
better understand the implications of what we're looking at.
We're waiting on one more. 3. Okay, the motion to table is approved. Bert, we're done for today. I just want to make one comment. Our lawyer is very, very clear that this is not a policy that he endorses, that he is actually opposed to this policy as it is currently presented.
And I agree with that. It's all the other things that we
But that's not what we're voting on today. We're voting on this policy, and he says no to this policy. That doesn't mean you couldn't bring back and have some other elements by voting this down. We're just come back next month and put this same thing on the table, and our attorney's position is very clear.
So it's going back to the landscaping committee then, or what happens?
It comes back to us.
It comes back to us, but, and may I say that part of at least some of the confusion that I experienced and what I think I heard from colleagues is that perhaps the motion could be worded in such a way that it is clearer. Because if we're confused by the motion, how can we even make a good decision? So it would come back, but perhaps not in perhaps in the narrow view in which it was apparently presented, but it looks bigger than that. Did that make sense?
Well, what was sent to the attorney was a copy of the proposed policy. And he responded, and you have in writing how he responded. So to me, this policy, as it currently was presented, our attorney is opposed to.
We understand that.
That's all.
But all the motion was to table it for us to further explore it, including understanding our attorney's position
Okay, and that's what we've done.
clarifying the policy.
So moving, that's what we've done.
So it comes back
I think
to,
the proper approach is to send the attorney's information to the landscaping and the
That's
thing
confidential.
back for them to
Yeah.
rethink and make another suggestion or rewarding or whatever they need to do. I think it has to go back to the committee, not come back to the board.
I think it comes back to the board, but I do think the separation of what those that have gardeners do is separate from all of this that we just go. They trim, right, no, they don't. Period. And the attorney.
The
seems to
issue of
support
having
that.
gardeners was not related to this at all.
I know,
People
but
who have gardeners can continue to have gardeners.
Not in it.
It doesn't have to be because you're not changing what exists. Director
The
Parsons, then
problem is I
Director
see it,
Hopkins.
yeah, the problem I see it is there's confusion at the board level. Taking this back to landscape doesn't
No,
eliminate
clear.
that confusion. I think it'd be good if Kurt would come in and talk to us, and then we would further define what's what. That could clarify this problem for all the board members.
But the landscaping put this together.
No?
Staff did.
Then what was the role of landscaping committee? Anything in this?
No.
motion?
to look at it,
If
it was
not,
brought
then,
to
you
us.
know.
Yes, we sent it to the
work back.
policy committee, and the policy committee sent it back.
Policy committee denied it.
Yeah.
But it came out of landscaping, right?
Yes.
yes. But we-
Okay.
right.
I said my vote.
All right, Director Hopkins.
What I heard, maybe I'm wrong, is that this particular policy had implications beyond what it stated. And those implications have not been discussed adequately. That's what I heard.
That's what you heard, and that's what we
Okay.
are saying.
All right. It's been tabled. We'll get back with you and let you know where we're going from here. But right now, plan on coming back next month.
Good to see you.
All right. Item 11B, entertain a motion to approve the policy requesting non-owners to obtain license agreement. This goes on initial 28-day notification. Director Parsons.
So moved.
So moved by Director Parsons. A second?
Second.
Director Johnson seconds. Okay. What happens is, this is all about the idea that a license agreement only runs for a single individual as long as they own the manor. Once they sell the manor, their license agreement expires. If the new owner wants to accept responsibility for the alteration that was licensed, they have to sign their own new license agreement. That's what this policy is about. Okay? Any other questions or discussion about it at this point?
What
Director
about,
Greenie.
yeah, what about the grandfathering? Is the grandfathering in this? or not?
Grandfather's not related to this at all. It's only people who've signed a license agreement.
So anybody that done before, they're not on the hook with this?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure we understand.
Correct. Only people who've signed a license agreement, because that's what expires. Okay? Director
So
Johnson?
if the new owner does not want to accept the alterations.
Whatever's under the license agreement, be it solar, be it whatever, then it has to be removed.
Okay, thank you.
And I requested to see how many variances were on my house. 900 and something.
900 variances?
Oh, that's what I got.
But you're not going to be involved with this. You haven't signed the agreement.
I mean, I'm just, but other people, we have 6,000 homeowners.
Well, we don't have that many license agreements, that's okay.
You
All
wouldn't
right,
think.
all right. All those in favor of putting this on 28-day notification, signify, are we going to vote on this? I keep forgetting.
Director Yoon, is your hand raised because you're for it, or do you have a comment? Oh, you're muted.
May I? I think a new owner is a different idea, a different thing, and I think a new owner needed to have a new license.
That's what the policy is suggesting, is that a new owner has to have a new license.
Yeah,
So if you agree with that.
I'm all for it.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. And then Director Park, I think we need. Okay, thank you.
All right, vote passes 10 yes, 1 no, no abstentions, so this is on 28-day notification. Now we move to new business item 11C, entertain a motion to approve a supplemental appropriation, the amount of $30,000 from the reserve fund for the annual seal coat program. So we'll ask Director Gomez if he would please join us at the podium so he can talk about this.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the board. The item before you is a request for a supplemental appropriation to support the proposed contract for the seal coat program for this year. The contract was put out to bid. We sent the RFP out to 5 competitive contractors. We received 2 bids, and the lowest responsible bid came in at higher price than what we had budgeted. So if the board wishes to move forward with the seal coat program, this year we'll need a supplemental appropriation, or we'll need to modify the number of streets that would get seal coated. So this was presented to the M&C committee on May 4th, and the M&C committee unanimously recommended approval of the supplemental appropriation. You'll have the contract award in your closed session this afternoon.
Okay, can I get a motion to put this on the floor? He's not going anywhere yet.
Okay.
Parsons moves.
Yeah.
Second.
I'll second.
Karimi seconds. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, can you define the difference between seal coat and slurry?
It's basically just the difference in the type of material. The seal coat is more of a thin, water-based material, intended only to seal the cracks to prevent moisture from getting into the subgrade. A slurry seal is, for lack of a better term, a thicker material with more aggregates, so it enhances the structural section in addition to sealing. We looked at both. We provided alternate bids for both with the contract. The pricing for the slurry seal came in substantially higher, and when the committee discussed the option between the two, they opted to recommend that we stay with the seal coat, but that we take a one cul-de-sac area to use as a sample with slurry. So we're working with the contractor to do a small cul-de-sac with slurry so that we can look at it and see comparison-wise what we get from a quality standpoint.
Director Moore.
Go ahead.
So then a decision really hasn't been made totally, third wide. You're
Moving
waiting for the test.
Moving forward, no.
Okay.
The board will have the opportunity, after this work is done, if the contract's awarded, to look at the work that's done at that
Okay.
one cul-de-sac with slurry, compare it to what it looks like on the seal coat areas, and then in next year's program, if we wanted to move completely to slurry, we would budget accordingly and do that.
Okay.
How many-
Director Moore.
How many years have you been doing this?
This process has been going on in the village, I think, for the last 20, 30 years.
All right, and we have never had a slurry coat? We've never had a slurry coat? What I'm looking for.
No,
What
we've
I'm
never
looking
had a
for
slurry coat.
Is a different in time frame. How long does a slurry coat
Yes.
last in comparison to a?
Yes. that's the-
Yeah, so in your agenda packet, we included a copy of the presentation that was given to
No,
the
I'm
board.
asking you in the 33 years.
Yeah, so we've never done a slurry. We've always done, never. We've always done a seal coat every 7 years. If we were to switch to a slurry, we estimate that you could do a slurry every 10 years instead of 7.
So how does that differentiate in the funding?
It still costs a little more to do slurry. The dollar amounts are in the presentation. I'll bring a hard copy with me. I have my electronic copy here. But it basically what it does is it extends the life of the pavement by a few years. The cost is only slightly more, a difference of about $40,000 over the 3-year cycle. But the committee felt that they wanted to do a test case first on the slurry instead of just going full blown.
Director Mensah.
Yeah, you said the cost, but what about the cost effectiveness? In other words, the cost might be slightly greater, but we can't hear from that, or at least I can't understand from that, whether or not that is ultimately cost effective with also the same benefit to the community. And so if we save 3 years, which is what it sounds like, how does that translate to cost effectiveness? Or doesn't it? I would hope it does, but does it?
You're paying more for slurry,
Right.
but you're doing it less often.
But
At the end of the day, eventually you're going to have to grind and overlay. So where you can't just keep slurring and seal coating. Eventually you're going to have to grind and overlay. So at the end of the day, it's a trade-off of cost effectiveness because you're looking at a 30-year period. But the reason that the committee wanted to look at slurry is because there was some concerns last year about the quality of the seal coat, that you could still see the cracks coming up through the seal coat. Even though it was doing what it's intended to do, seal the cracks were still visible. And so to try to address that, we were asked to look at a slurry seal comparison to seal coat. So if you seal coat for 3 cycles, 21 years, the cost for that to do the same number of streets we're doing this year would be $263,000 to do
A year?
for the 3-year period.
3-year period.
For the 3-year period. It's about $80,000-$90,000 a year. To do the same streets with slurry for 2 cycles is $310,000.
For 2 cycles, so that'd
Right.
be 20 years.
Right. So basically, you're paying more for slurry, but you're going to get a better looking street and you're going to extend the pavement life. The challenge is that you have so many cul-de-sacs to do that when you start putting the program together over all of the cul-de-sacs, then it starts getting more expensive. This year, you're doing a set number of cul-de-sacs. You're not doing every street and third. You're only doing a small portion of the cul-de-sac.
Okay, Director Fox.
So it sounds to me like one option is $30,000 every 7 years, and the other option is $40,000 every 10 years. And to me, that's the same cost. So I would vote for whichever one is going to be higher quality, regardless of 30 or 40. That's my
That's why we're going to be
opinion.
testing it. We're going to test it, look at it, and make sure it's good.
But if research is done and one method is better than the other,
Then we go for it.
then regardless of the price of 30 or 40,000, you go for the better method because really it's
That's
the same
intent.
price.
That's the intent. If you agree. Director Hopkins.
Yeah, and I think this is part of the research, is to move forward with this as part of the research. What I recall is that seal coat or slurry, one did not look, but did do what it was supposed to do. In other words, it did seal, but it did not look like it was sealed. The other has a more visible look of sealing, but not necessarily all that different in terms of its cost effectiveness. So I think we were looking at this experiment, if you will, in terms of just funding this experiment so we could have more data to make an informed decision.
Okay, Director Moore.
We've done it for 30-some years. You would think that we would have had a test before this. Thank you. We obviously haven't. So now we're going in, and we're going to be out a year before the test comes in. Why don't we go?
We think that's a good approach. We think instead of spending $200,000 to slurry all of the cul-de-sacs, let's spend $80,000 to seal coat. Let's slurry one cul-de-sac, and let's make sure that the board is going to be comfortable with the end product. Because at the end of the day, if we slurry seal and you're still not comfortable with it, we're spending additional funding without having the full, all the benefit of the full
Our
information.
comfortability is based on history and what is done that is correct. None of us can go out and walk on it and say, we know this is better than this. So there has to be some history here that lets us know.
Yeah, the
Thank you.
history is that seal coating has historically been acceptable to staff and the board. Last year, we had a couple of board members, Director Park specifically was leading this charge, to do something other than seal coat. So we did that by bringing in a alternative bid for slurry seal. Because of the price of oil right now, the bids we received are probably skewed. So this is probably not the best year to make that decision as you want to switch over. We support the MNC committee's recommendation to do one cul-de-sac as a test case. Hopefully next year the economy will be in a better shape. We won't be having the uncertainty of oil prices, which directly affect the cost of the materials for both any asphalt product, both the seal coat and the slurry.
Okay, anybody else questions or comments? Director Park?
Yes. When you do seal coat and slurry coat this year, please let us know which street you are going to do the test the slurry coat. I will be there and check it. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else question? Director Johnson?
So I assume, okay, that if we do one with slurry, are we going to wait until we evaluate it to make a decision on the rest of the cul-de-sacs?
No, what we're proposing is, because you want to do this work during the summer months. So what we're proposing is do all seal coat with the exception of one cul-de-sac. And we're negotiating with the contractor now for that price, to do just one cul-de-sac with slurry.
Just to be clear to everybody, we are not doing all of the cul-de-sacs in Third.
Right.
The amount of money that we're allocating, that we're asking the additional $30,000 for, is a small portion of all the cul-de-sacs. How many cul-de-sacs? You said 80 cul-de-sacs?
No, there's not quite that many. I'd
No.
say.
So it's a small number of cul-de-sacs. It doesn't represent all of them in Third Mutual.
Yeah, the cul-de-sacs are listed on page 10 of 14 of your agenda packet. Those are the cul-de-sacs that are being done this year. And there's an exhibit on page 15. That's a map that shows where they're located. So again, just as a reminder, every cul-de-sac, you're on a 7-year cycle. Every cul-de-sac gets a seal coat every 7 years.
So is it
66.
logical then to assume that if every cul-de-sac gets seal coated every 7 years, we're doing 1/7 of the cul-de-sacs in a particular year?
Correct.
So this represents only 1/7. Director Fox?
So what we're saying is, we budgeted 57,000, but the true cost of this is 87,000.
Correct.
Because of one additional
No, not because the one
No,
additional.
because the cost is higher.
Cost is higher.
Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Alrighty.
So multiply that out. Okay. Any other questions or comments about the motion that's on the floor?
I just have one. When do they come back to us with the evaluation?
We'll come back to you early next year before we set up the next
For
one.
the next contract.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead, Director Fox.
so if you're coming back next year, then none of this, I mean, aside from this 87, none of the additional monies are going to make it into the 2027 budget.
Correct.
It would make it into 2028 budget.
Correct.
Fabulous.
That's your job as treasurer.
Yeah.
All right. Any-
Defer.
Anybody else? Questions or comments about this motion? Director Parsons.
Call for the question.
Call for the question. All right, unless there's no opposition, we'll go ahead and call for the question. Please vote.
Director Yoon, can you provide your vote as well? Yes? We just need Director Park and Director Moore.
I'm trying.
You can always give me a thumbs up or thumbs down, and I can input it myself.
Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, motion passes 10 yes, 1 no.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. All right. That takes us now, believe it or not, to committee reports. And first up is the Finance Committee with Director Fox, please.
Alrighty, we have some slides to put on the screen. I hope. Maybe not.
What? Yeah.
Okay, screen, slide number 1. Through the reporting period of March 31, 2026, total revenue for third was 12.9 million, expenses 10.9. So we have a net positive through March 31 of $2 million. Slide 2. This table takes the full income statement and compares those results to budget. We can see that third ended the period better than budget by $2 million when combining both operating and reserve revenues and expenses. Slide number 3, unless there are any questions. Good. Okay, slide number 3. Let's see, the most significant variances to budget were outside services, 1.2 million favorable, primarily in landscape and M&C due to timing of scheduled work for landscape prior to paint, roof replacements, and copper pipe replacements. And then we've got employee compensation and related, 352,000 positive or favorable, and this resulted primarily in landscape and M&C due to open positions. And we've got materials and supplies, slightly favorable. Investment income is favorable. And professional fees are unfavorable due to timing of consulting fee expenses, which are incurred earlier than anticipated. Slide number 4. Here we see a nice little colorful pie chart. Sorry. These are the non-assessment revenues earned to date of $890,000, shown by category here. The largest areas are chargeable services, investment income, and then many and sundry others. Slide number 5. Yes, sir.
About the outside services, is that a little bit abnormal? What is going on there? Do you have the detail of it, or?
You're asking me?
No, I'm asking Mr. President.
I think what's happening here, at least as I understand it, is that there have been a fair number of positions
Available, open.
that are open positions.
That was
and-
filled?
That have not been filled, that's why they're open. And that those positions, because they haven't been filled, have caused us to have to go outside for those services that would normally be performed.
But
if
that's
we-
against what it is. It's favorable. We have $1.2 million extra.
We haven't spent it yet. It's coming because of the time of the year. That's what Director Fox has complained about before, is that,
when we have the budget,
yeah,
I've often said, the budget should not just be, we're going to spend $12 million, so it's $1 million a month. It's, well, during the summer, we're not going to do certain things, and during the rainy season, we're not going to do certain things. And the budget should reflect the ebbs and flows of projects being done. And what happened is, we're looking at certain expenditures for the year and saying for 3 months, it's 1/4, when in reality, we're not doing any of it in January, February, March, because the weather's not right.
Yeah, but employment compensation is 352 in favorable. And then outside services, $1.2 million favorable. So what we have $1.5 million that we haven't spent, neither on employment nor on our outside services. How to work that done?
But assuming that there are ebbs and flows month to month of when things get done, if a lot of this work, an inordinate amount of this work is done in September, October, November,
So
then you're going to
discuss
see
numbers.
Yeah.
$2 million unfavorable for those 3 months, as opposed to $1.5 million favorable the way the numbers are concocted.
one of the examples is fumigation. When they tent the buildings, they don't tent the buildings all year round mostly. They tent it at a certain time of year. That's all an outside service. That's all going to be paid for later on in this year. Director Moore.
The issue is they don't put it in the months where it's supposed to be spent.
Right.
Because it's not done, it's not tracked in the budget based on when the work is anticipated to be done. It's just like I say, divide by 12, and that's what it is.
That's why it shows positive. All right.
Yes,
Director
sir.
Johnson.
But isn't it true that the numbers
What are you, a
are
lawyer or
based on-
something?
Said if you were a lawyer or something.
Isn't it true, Your
Isn't
Honor?
it true, my defendant,
I plead the fifth.
that the number is actually based on invoices rather than when the work is actually done?
That's the actual. The actual is based on invoices when things happen. The budget is just divide by
Right.
12. So you're going to see things go
My
like
12-year-old
this.
can do that.
Hmm?
My 12-year-old can do that.
Okay, he's hired.
Moving along.
Any other questions?
Moving along.
Wow, tough crowd. Okay, what are we on now? Let's get out of this. Let's go to
There are
slide
total
5.
expenses.
Wow, expenses. Okay, on this chart, we see expenses to date of 10.9 million by category. The largest, as always, being outside services and employee compensation and related, then utilities, insurance, then a host of other smaller expenses. Slide number 6. Okay, we try to watch the operating portion of our financial results. The operating fund is showing a surplus of $620,000 through the reporting period. This table shows how much of our revenue went into operations, with $7.9 million coming in from assessments and $555,000 coming from non-assessment revenue. This is compared to operating expenditures of $7.9 million, not including depreciation. And slide 7. Let's see, the non-operating fund balances on March 31, 2026 totaled $36.1 million. In 2026, contributions, interest, and fund transfers totaled $4.4 million, while expenditures were $3.0. This table shows us that our non-operating fund balances increased by $1.4 million year to date. And the next slide. Okay, here we see the non-operating fund balances to historical fund balances for the past 5 years, which has averaged $33.9 million. Third, Laguna Hills Mutual has been committed to supporting reserve requirements and having more contingency funds for unexpected events. And the last slide has to do with our resale history from 2024 to 2026. Through March 31, 2026, third resales totaled 66, which is 18 less than the prior year for the same time period. Average year-to-date resale price for Third Mutual was $793,000, which is $197,000 more per unit than the prior year for the same period.
Just out of curiosity, looking at this chart, and I look at March 26, the orange, and then I go back and I look at March 25, the blue, and they're at the same level on the chart. But yet you're saying that, so the chart to me doesn't reflect the numbers that you...
Well, actually, it does when you're looking at the 90-day period ended March 31, because if you look at February...
Oh, you're looking at the whole year, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right.
Because you're right, the months, it's an increase from March of 2024, and it's same as March of 2025.
Right. Okay.
But year-to-date, we're down.
Gotcha.
Because if you look at the February,
Yeah.
it's pretty low.
All right. Any questions for the treasurer? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next report, Architectural Committee. Last met May 11th. The committee at that point reviewed 2 variance requests that were included as part of the consent calendar for earlier in this meeting. If you recall, one of the requests was approved and one of the requests was denied. The committee spent a considerable amount of time discussing the issue of solar panels. Differences between one-story buildings and multiple-story buildings was discussed. 2 approaches to allocating space for solar panels on the roof of a building were considered. The 2 approaches are first come, first serve approach and the proportionality approach. The pros and cons of each approach were discussed, as well as an opinion from legal counsel. It was determined that more discussion was needed before a decision could be made on which approach would work best for the mutual. The next meeting of the committee is scheduled for June 3rd at 9:30 here in the boardroom. Now we move on to Director Karimi and the M&C Committee.
Mr. Chair, I asked you to do that because I wasn't present at that meeting. I appreciate you took care of the meeting.
I didn't come prepared, in all honesty, to do a report.
said you were there.
No, I know I was there, but I didn't know that I was going to do a report because I normally prepare my statements.
Well, come unprepared.
Okay. We discussed the annual seal coat program. That's why you had today Director Gomez here to ask for the additional $30,000. We looked at the Shepherd's Crook update and exactly where we were going to do the 500 linear feet, and actually we changed the location for where the Shepherd's Crook is going to go. It's now going to be on Santa Maria, east of Santa Vittoria. Okay, so outside gate 10 and 11, going towards Moulton. All right. We also considered terminating the gutter screen policy. We did a pilot project here in the village, putting up different kinds of gutter screens, and the end result was that none of the gutter screens really seemed to do the work that was expected, and therefore there was no reason to continue with the gutter screen program. And that's about a $40,000 program at that point that we're no longer going to be doing. We also are still wrestling with, for the LH21 buildings, the issue of their storage units and how to allocate space and whose responsibility that is, and if it is the third board's, what kind of program the third board's going to implement for that. Okay? And those were the items on the M&C committee.
We appreciate, Mr. President. Thank you for a nice report.
Next up is the resident, Landscape Committee. Director Rain Sosak is going to do that report.
Yes, thank you very much. The Landscape Committee met on May the 7th, and as you could imagine from the discussion of the herbicide that we heard about today, it was a fairly lively meeting, and that issue was settled by referring it to here. So we will continue. But the highlight of the meeting actually was a presentation on our irrigation system operations. And we have a very advanced system thanks to GRF, who funded it. And Max Marino Jr., who is the village irrigation water consultant, gave a presentation outlining his system-wide irrigation audit, the proposed data-driven strategies to improve efficiency, and the ongoing monitor. He's holding training sessions for our landscape folks, and it was a very, very informative presentation. And with that, the meeting adjourned, and the next meeting will be held on June the 4th at 9:30 in the morning here in the boardroom.
Okay, thank you. Next up is the Residents Compliance Committee, and that committee met on April 28th. The issue of storage space, again, in the LH21 buildings has been under consideration by this committee. The Compliance Division provided an update, and hopefully a few different plans for addressing this issue will be provided at the next meeting. The committee entertained a policy change from the Landscaping Department regarding the herbicide suspension policy. Since the policy involves the use of common area, guidance from legal counsel was requested. Legal counsel advised the mutual not to approve the policy based on the issue that to approve the policy would be to allow common area to be controlled by an individual member, which is considered to be a violation of our CC&Rs. The committee recommended, therefore, denial of this proposed policy and gave the Landscape Department direction regarding the current herbicide policy. An updated policy regarding damage restoration was presented by the Damage Restoration Division. Since the committee did not have sufficient opportunity to review the policy prior to the meeting, the full discussion of the policy was tabled until the next meeting. The committee did recommend the policy requesting new owners to obtain lease agreements. That was placed today on 28-day notice here by the board. And lastly, the committee considered a policy related to the inclusion of shutoff valves during alterations that include plumbing. The committee reviewed 3 options and combined 2 of them. The proposed policy includes that the mutual perform the work associated with water shutoff installation at a cost to the member, and the water shutoff valve will then still be the mutual responsibility. Next meeting of the committee is scheduled for Wednesday, May 27th at 9:30 here in the boardroom. Next up is the Garden Villa Recreation Room Committee. Director Yoon.
Okay, Garden Villa was met and chaired by the SK. And the only thing I want to report that is the team gonna be installed the internet service at the Garden Villa Recreation Room and cost to $40. And for the members, it's about $1.75 per month. Other than that, not much going on. And next meeting will be July 8th, 26th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That concludes the reports for the third mutual. We'll now go to the GRF committee highlights, and we'll begin with Director Fox and the CAC committee.
Thank you. Okay, the CAC committee, we met on May 14th, a couple days ago. And the primary topic of discussion was going through and ratifying the recreation policy for the village. And after some give and take, it was approved. Couple issues that came up during the course of the meeting. There are clubs within the village who have at their events things called 50-50 raffles. And I kind of like picked up on this because in reading through the recreation policy, there's a line in there regarding basically games of chance or gambling or whatever. And the whole point is that we're supposed to comply with California state and local laws. So I looked up 50-50 raffles, for example, which seem to be popular in the village, and it turns out that they kind of run afoul of the laws in the state of California because they're gambling. And I know from personal experience with one of the clubs I'm involved in that it's frowned upon, to say the least. So that's an issue that's being referred out within GRF to figure out how to deal with that and to advise the clubs, all 250 of them, that this is something they should be looking at. The second issue is the concern about alcohol being served at events, be it GRF or bring your own. People bring bottles of wine or whatever else. And my concern, and it might be unfounded, but I raised it, and it's going to be referred up the channels in the GRF, is whether the serving of alcohol in an event has any effect on insurance for that event. In particular, there are some events that take part outside of clubhouses and include traveling from clubhouse to clubhouse, and that to me is drinking and driving. And I don't think that's really a topic we want to be involved in the village here in the state of California. So again, it's just ideas that I brought up that they should be discussing and looking into at the in GRF.
Okay.
And that's the CAC report.
Okay. Next up is, again, Director Fox and traffic here.
Oh, me? Okay. So, traffic hearings. Let's see. We last met on, when did we meet? These dates.
April 15th.
No, we've met since then, I think. Oh, no, actually, we're meeting tomorrow. So anyway, April 15th was prior to the last meeting, so there's nothing new to report other than the normal comment about safety and health. And we are looking to have the GRF board or policy committee or whoever over there increase significantly the fines for speeding in particular, because right now you get caught speeding and I think the first offense is like $40. And we're looking to increase that significantly, not to raise money for the village, but we really want a deterrent to get people to slow down and observe the speed limits. And other than that, everybody was guilty, and they whatever we did, we did.
So from now on, I can refer to you as the hanging judge?
Yeah, and believe me, I am the soft one on the committee that's listening in on the hearings.
If you say so.
If you can believe that. If you sat in on one of these meetings, yes, sir.
All right.
Did you refer your recommendations to the traffic security and mobility committee?
I think we referred it to the resident policy committee of GRF.
Okay, next up, Director Parsons and Disaster Preparedness Committee.
Thank you very much. For those that don't know, the Disaster Preparedness Task Force has been dissolved, and we're in the process of formulating a new committee. And it's made up of representatives from United, Third, and GRF. We are presenting a committee charter at our disaster preparedness meeting the end of this month on the 26th. And if voted on, it will go to GRF, and it looks like it'll go through. And because it's being restructured, we will become a full-fledged committee. So just want to let you know that we do have a rough draft of the committee charter. And I want to go into a little bit that the last meeting we had last month, we came up with an organization chart. We also, out of that, developed committees. And I'll just read some of the committees here. Communications, clubhouse organization and forms that are needed, training, Gate 11, Garden Villa, resources, and pets. And we'll be voting on that to solidify our organization at the same meeting. And our next meeting will be the 26th of May here in the boardroom at 9:30.
Thank you. Next up, GRF MNC Committee, Director Hopkins.
We discussed various projects, ongoing projects within that committee. The next meeting is going to be June 10th at 9:30 a.m.
Here in the boardroom. Next up, Director Fox, GRF Finance Committee.
Our last meeting was held on May 8th. It was a special meeting to discuss the ongoing ERP implementation, and there was a request for basically $500,000 additional funds for the continuation of the ERP implementation, and there was some spirited debate and discussion within that committee, and ultimately that allocation for additional funding was approved. And that was all that was discussed at this special meeting.
And
the next meeting is June 17th, 1:30 here in the boardroom.
Thank you. Next up, GRF Mobility and Vehicles Committee, again, Director Hopkins.
Yes, we reviewed the vehicle requests for the upcoming year, as well as we were treated to a tour of the new bus that we will be purchasing. We're going down from 4 to 2 of this type of bus, and we looked at, actually, it was another customer's bus that they were delivering, but we got the opportunity to be on the bus and experience it. And so that was unique for me anyway. I'd never been on, the second time I've been on a bus. The next meeting is August 5th, 2026, 1:30 in the boardroom.
Thank you. Next up, GRF Landscape Committee, Director Rain Sosa.
Committee met on May 13th. These are quarterly meetings, and the highlight of that meeting, as it was with our own landscape meeting, was a presentation by Max Marino on the irrigation system. And as is often happens at these meetings, in terms of members' comments, there are always folks expressing concern about the maintenance of the creek, and that always seems to be the primary concern. And in fact, our hands are tied because it is the state of California and Fish and Wildlife that really control what we are permitted to do with the creek. And so it's an ongoing discussion and an ongoing concern, and our landscape department responds as best it can within the state's guidelines. Again, as I mentioned, these are quarterly meetings, so the next meeting will be August the 12th at 1:30 here in the boardroom.
Thank you. Information Technology Advisory Committee, Director Hopkins.
Yeah, this is a closed meeting. Our next meeting is May 29th, 2026. I will add, though, that we did, at the past meeting, approve the additional funding that went to the Finance Committee their past meeting. So next meeting, again, May 29th at 1:30, and it is a virtual meeting closed.
Thank you. Next up is the GRF Broadband Committee. This committee last met on March 23rd. A report was given previously at the April meeting, so there's nothing new to update. The next meeting is May 28th, 1:30, here in the boardroom. Next up is the GRF Security and Community Access Committee. Director Moore.
Yes, that we have a new chairman for, it's Mickey Choi. There was a lot of discussion. The funds to be charged for violations was brought up. I think approved, at least there. It was a very fast-moving meeting. Ruth was there as well. We had a lot of comments on the gates, and some of the new committee members had a lot of questions. But in essence, it was the amount we were going to be charging for violations on the traffics. And the next meeting is June 24th.
At 1:30 here in the boardroom. Next up, GRF Energy Committee, Director Rain Shostak.
This is a fairly new committee, and the committee met on May 18th, which happened to have been yesterday morning. It's only our second meeting. They're still in the formative stages, still deciding what to do. Much of the discussion focused on the possibility and the potential that's presented by solar panels. And GRF has been looking at that for a long time. What was interesting, I felt, was that some new technologies were really discussed. And the question of whether or not, given the fact that the tax credits are going away and that some of the benefits we as an organization might get by putting something in now might disappear soon, was weighed against the developing technologies that might just be worth waiting for. A great deal of the discussion centered on the fact that the electric company, SoCal Edison, really is taking more and more of what we get on our solar generation anywhere that we have it or where any customer has it. And so there seems to be greater and greater emphasis on storage. And it was interesting that one of the folks who really keeps up with it mentioned that there's a whole new battery technology that's coming into play with sodium, I believe he mentioned, that isn't, unlike lithium batteries, isn't flammable. And I don't know how far away, I don't know anyone knows how far away they are from putting that into service. So now there's a discussion of weighing, do you put it in now or do you maybe wait since the benefits tax-wise aren't there and rebate-wise and grant-wise aren't there, to maybe see what some of these new technologies do. But again, with consideration for storage, since it's getting less and less valuable to sell the energy back to the electric company, maybe we need to figure out how to keep it. And there is the next date was not set. The chair will be out of town for a while, and so it's open.
Thank you. Next up is the Strategic Land Use Ad Hoc Committee. Director Johnson.
Yes, the last meeting was held April 24th. The next meeting is May 22nd, Memorial Day weekend. So the primary gist of the meeting was trying to come up with a new name, a charter, going forward. So, but the committee itself was very interesting. It's actually looking at parcels of land that are owned by GRF that are vacant, and what is the best use of that land. So you have lived here longer than I, so you probably remember discussions in the old days. I have documents from them back to 2002. So this, I guess the subject has come up many times, but we're trying to find out what we can do legally with the land and what would provide the most income for the HOA. Fortunately, or unfortunately, it's going to require a lot of legal work, but at least it's GRF, not us. So as I said, the next meeting is May 22nd.
Thank you. Next.
My birthday, by the way.
Your birthday? Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
I love spending it in meetings.
All right, next up is the report of the Water Conservation Committee, and we're back with Director Rain Shostak.
And for those who have been paying attention to past water conservation reports, it did not appear in the board section, in the third mutual section, and is now appearing under GRF because, in fact, that committee has become a community-wide committee. And that's very exciting. We're still in the stages of looking at what we can do community-wide. Our irrigation system is great. It's going to help us save a whole lot of water. It's responsive to weather, all of those things, and the rest of it is up to us. And so we're going to be looking at it, and tentatively our first meeting is scheduled for July 30th. That's when our committee would have met. So we've got the room and we've got the time. So at least at present we're planning on keeping that. And we invite anybody to come and participate. And so it will be united, third, and with presentation, which representation from GRF, but very much a focus on residential, what we can do. We don't get a water bill, so it's, out of sight, out of mind. And GRF has a much smaller piece, other than the showers at the pools. Their piece of residential water is much smaller, but they will be there because it is indeed a community-wide committee. And again, that would be tentatively scheduled July 30th here in the boardroom at 2 p.m.
Thank you very much. That includes all our committee reports. I'll now ask for future agenda items. Anybody with future agenda? And Director Creamy.
Should they put the herbicide in the future since it's a table?
Well, that automatically comes up. It only gets tabled for a month and comes up automatically next month.
Oh, okay. So it's not
That's
in the
automatic.
future.
Right. Right. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move now to director comments. We'll start with Director Hopkins.
No comment.
Director Parsons.
No.
Director Park. Director Moore.
No.
Director
No comment.
Director Creamy.
No.
Director Johnson.
No more.
Director Fox.
No.
No comment. Director Rojas. And most importantly, Michaela. Howard. Howard. Stewart, any final comment? Thank you. All right, on that note, we will recess and reconvene in the boardroom for the closed meeting. It is 11:06,
11:30,
11:45.
11:45, okay.
No, I'm sorry, upstairs in the
Willow
second
room.
floor. I apologize, second floor. You're correct. I misspoke.